we have a lot. We rejected a lot of application where applicants ask for work from home. Our business is not easy to work from home because we are introducing a new technology.
Hey everyone, before we begin this next episode of the Hello Mentor podcast, I just want to say if you're job searching or hiring, check out hiredly.com. We are not just another job platform. We make it easier to find the jobs that people actually want, and we help companies stand out to hire the right talent. So there's a lot of smart tech and there's a lot of human touch. That's Hiredly. So you can head to hiredly.com and give it a go. Hello, it's another episode of the Hello Mentor podcast. We have Ellice Ng with us today from Orangeleaf Consulting. So yes, Ellice, welcome. Could you introduce Orangeleaf to us?
Sure. Hi, my name is Ellice from Orangeleaf Consulting. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Orangeleaf Consulting. What I do and what Orangeleaf does is basically we help company to grow, the people to grow, and we help them to materialize ideas into reality using advanced technology. And in our vision, what we do is we turn strategies into softwares. That's what we do.
Right. So you turn strategy software. Got it. In some sense, I'm using my own words here. So you help people maybe not from a technical kind of background build technology or leverage technology.
So what we do is we use very specialized technology called the low-code platform. It's a brand called Mendix, which belongs to Siemens. Siemens acquired it in 2018. And we started off this market. When I say we, there's more than one co-founder here. So we have another co-founder, Tim Hendricks, very specialized, has been doing Mendix for many years. It's like by now it's about 15 years. So when we discovered this, it was in 2017 when we started in Malaysia, and no one talks about low-code technology. It was like I have to send like thousands of messages out there and knock doors and explain to people what low-code is, and I got a lot of rejections from that. Yeah, because I think people are comfortable with the way they do things, where you use Java, C, and that's fine. But what happened? What's the shift? When it happened was during the COVID, when there's no way you'll be out there. Bosses needs their data, their reports and everything. There's no way you can do if everything have to be on site. So that's where there was another shift where everything have to be digitized. So that's where there was a push. There was an outlook for low code. Right.
Because low code helps them digitize faster?
Yes. So what is low code? Right. So low code basically, we started off by 0 and 1. Okay, not that era. I'm not a technical person, just to clarify before all these technical people come bash me, right?
It's okay, I'm non-technical. So a non-technical person is going to ask a non-technical person technical question.
We are, the thing is that we are no longer in an era where technical do its own part, business do their own thing. Business and tech must combine to build the vision and the goal for the organization. Why? Because the demand and speed to market, demand is getting higher. There's no way that you and I now order food, we will just walk out and, buy food. If we can, we get a Grab, right? We get a taxi these days, we get a Grab. The way we do things, we want to hear music, we go Spotify. Spotify is on cloud. So everything changes, and now tech is live. And same goes to, there must be an evolve in the software industry. And this is so important because we used to have like 5-10 headcounts just to build a system. And there's system architecture, there's things. Whenever bosses want anything or an organization needs anything, we need to build a system, and we have to go from scratch all the way up. And if there are more system and more demand, you need to add headcount. What is turning around now is you don't need that many headcount. You can actually shift all these repetitive tasks into softwares, automations. And what you want to focus as an employee whether you're tech or business, is turning all your frustration of ideas into reality. And that's the big shift. And how low code help is a drag and drop visual model. So let's go back to what I mentioned, where there was 0 and 1, and then there was Java and C, which is fine, but the business people won't be able to read all these millions of lines. And there's no way. So what happened is, if I have something to ask for, I will go to the tech department. A tech department will take down the request. Then you will have to go to business analyst or whoever the project lead is. And then you have to look into it and then come back to you. And most of the time, if you know this, that what a business user asks and what is delivered, it's completely opposite of what I ask. And what happened, you always end up don't meet in the middle ground. And that wastes a lot of time. And that is also cost and money. So the next era, which is the 4th generation of programming language, is called the low-code platform. Low-code platform, there's SMEs, there's also for enterprise. So there are two. If you know that Canva also recently launched as no-code. So what happened is that you don't need to learn coding to build softwares. You don't need to learn coding to build designs and things. It gets faster and faster. The way I design things, I don't need to hire a graphic designer, but I still use it, honestly. For myself, I do, because I'm more meticulous when it comes to design. But there are people, a business owner, that I just want like this.
Right.
SMEs, how many times can you afford to hire a designer?
Right.
So that's where Canva comes in.
Right.
So now, goes back to 5th generation programming language. That's where AI enable happen. AI, Gen AI, agentic AI happens. That's why, because now we have all this drag and drop visual model to build system. All the system have data, and all this data will now generate into decision processes and decision makings for you. So you don't really have to, get more people to just sit there and, slot, okay, this goes to let's say there's an inbox, right? Usually you need an administrator to sit there to just clear the inbox. Now you can put in algorithm behind and everything is automated. So you can put the admin person to do something more high value than putting the person there to just swipe, inbox.
Yes.
So that's the shift at the moment. And low-code have helped many of my clients to actually save millions of dollars for enabling and shifting out of legacy systems to automation and move all the team to do more high-value work.
Right.
And like for Malaysia, where we started in 2017, that no one talks about it. What happened was there was a fear that people talk about, automation, we may lose my job and all that. And in 2018, when we officially established and launched it as a brand, Orangeleaf Consulting, I have created more jobs than ever. The difference is I do not just create jobs for tech graduates. I created jobs for non-tech graduates to create and also develop systems for enterprises. And I'm not talking about those normal enterprises. We are talking about conglomerate size.
Right. In a way, it's sort of like when tools become easier to use, I'm not sure if this is right, but you sort of like democratize this. It's like you make it more accessible to a lot of people.
Yes.
Right.
Because I came from a corporate communication background. I come from comm, and then I used to run a PR company before I actually shift to tech. So I'm a PR turned tech.
Right.
And I understand the frustration. Being a comm person, I understand the frustration whenever I go to the tech department. Like, hey, can I get this? And the backlog is like, you have to wait for next year. Or at least the fastest I give you face is 3 months.
Right.
And in my head, those days when I was an employee, I was like, why does it have to take freaking long to do this? Like, it's adding all these little requests. I know all this because I used to study tech too, but I just didn't pursue and practice tech. And that's because there's nothing wrong with the person. It's the technology that was used. Because if you use coding, which is Java and all this, fantastic. If you want to lay a foundation by creating products, like, for example, you want to be like Elon Musk. You have something that's so big, your dream, that you must have the IP on your own. Fantastic. But if you are a business, you want to have access to, data, real-time data. You want to have access to make better decisions about your company, the next move. Data is so important that you do not lose count in terms of, the amount, for example, raw material in manufacturing, right? Every day that people take any items, raw materials from the plant, and it doesn't report immediately because it's Excel sheets, and the person have to key in and print it out or send an email. The other department will receive it tomorrow. You lost money over there, and that can be automated so that everybody keys in into one system, and that system has all the data, and another department just need to access that information, immediately can update its own data.
Right.
And the management immediately can get the same data that is inserted. And that is how things have shifted. You can't really achieve that with traditional coding, you call it. Not because it's bad. It's very precise. It's like you hire a graphic designer. If you are into all these fine details and meticulous, being a fine art person. But if you just want to get the job done, I just want to access this, I just want to have things to be posted on social media, then you go for speed.
Right.
And speed is where low-code comes in.
Yes.
And now majority of the low-code is AI enabled. So it basically helps you to achieve things faster, extract data, and you can make data turn it into your own agentic AI.
Yes.
And it's amazing, like
Right.
how I witnessed my clients save millions of dollars by, enabling their team to get their work-life balance. Because now they don't have to do repetitive tasks. All they do is coming up with more ideas and more ideas. I have a client actually launch like 40 over apps in 4.5 years. And that's a lot. And that's not just us, because for Mendix low code, we actually encourage citizen developers too, which means we enable the internal people to pick up low code. So we have a gentleman, which is 60 years old, can actually create form using low code. And that's amazing that we can enable the internal people to do small things that makes a big impact to the organization.
Right. I love to kind of like go back slightly to your childhood.
Okay.
Because I'm always so fascinated by people who end up starting companies or businesses, and I do find that many people have different kind of personalities, but there's always something somehow that led them to start their own thing. So I don't know whether were there any moments from your early childhood you felt that shaped the way you think and somehow led to you starting something yourself one day?
Oh, okay. So for me, I think I'm very different. Because I was born and abandoned, so it's very different, the story. Yeah. Oh, didn't know?
Oh no. Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah. So I was born and abandoned.
You were born and abandoned.
So that means that I don't know my biological parents. Yeah, so born, abandoned in a hospital. And then I was illegally adopted by a lady. She adopted two babies, one of me and one of the other so-called sister. I don't think it's my sister. It just happened to be in a hospital, I believe. And because it's illegal, one have to be illegalized. So she took the other baby and she have to abandon me again, right? So in between the process, the lady actually knew one of a lady, her best friend, which actually turned to be my godmother. In Hokkien, we call Amma. So Amma actually took me in and then tried to help me to get a good family to be into. But that process, I was abandoned again for another 6 times. Because I think adopting a child is not easy. It is a stigma also, right? If you adopt a child, then probably it's going to be it's bad. It's going to be not, because it's not your DNA and all that. But I really don't believe in that. So because of that actually I was officially adopted, legalized at the age of 7, 6.5 to 7. So which is my parents now. And they're fantastic. Yeah, not well-to-do family. My mom is a cleaner. My dad is a photographer, inherit from my grandfather. And yeah, so that's a history of who I was. So yeah, being an orphan and abandoned child, I think the only thing is not about dream. It's about surviving. It's different. So the hustling mode, the fight and flight, it's more to that. And I grew up with my family. Not everybody welcomed me, of course, right? Because I think in Chinese family, they have this mindset, you're adopted, you are, yeah, black color, ayo, don't know lah, you bring later go sell drug, There's a lot of, just basically in short, I was a black sheep. Yeah, so it was not really welcome. But the thing is that I don't like to fight with people. Unless you press all the wrong button on me, then probably I will fight back. And I put my head down and actually grew up with the family. But they are nice people, the family, like my mom and dad. And then they actually, raised me well, gave me education, gave all the needs that I need to grow up as a healthy kid and to where I am today. To be honest, it's gonna be funny, but my dream was to be a housewife.
Oh, wow.
Ha ha. Really? Because being an abandoned child, right? What can you hope for? Love. And being an orphan and an abandoned child, you don't need anything else except that you want to be wanted and loved. And because I was a black sheep, right? I didn't like how I was treated and being seen in the family. And what I did was, I was so angry whenever, like people say, you see, you're so naughty. This is what you get. You see, I told you, what? This is offered. You don't know who the parents was, Sure, they're very naughty. She's very naughty, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's something that I hear for 20 over years.
Wow, it sort of it hangs on you like that, like,
Yeah.
and every time something goes on, it just goes back to this something like
Yeah, but the thing is that I managed to get through it. I turned that pain into power. And every time when things don't go well, I turn into motivation. And I don't let it sit on me, and I will never let it break me. I will turn it into motivation. That whoever would dislike or hates or whatever, right? I don't go like, oh yeah, you hate me, and then I go like, like rabbit hole. I turn it around. I was like, okay, you don't like me, let me show you. Let me show you what I can do. And that actually transformed my own life. And how I ended up being an entrepreneur was also because it was a transition in life where I didn't have money, like really broke, that I can't even pay for my gas. That was where, and I lost my job. I was like, oh, I'm so in trouble. Because I don't know how to explain to my mom. Because my mom is any family, the mom, like, hi, you don't have a job, what are you going to do? I raise you, there's no income. Because it's, in Chinese family, income means this is security, right? So, happened to be a few friends, two of them actually asked me, like, why don't you start on your own? I was like, no lah, how to start on your own? I had no money, what can I do? They say, well, you have been helping people to do events for free. You're not even charging them. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. And a friend of mine actually was a true friend of mine actually reminded me that there's nothing for you to lose if you try for 6 months, it doesn't go well. What do? I said, I just have to go back to corporate. And he said, you have your answer. Why don't you give it a try, right? No harm. So that's how I started. And it's not something that I'm going to look for. Oh, I want to be a founder. I want to do business. No, it was not in my plan at all. And it was never in my plan. My plan was to get married. No, glad it didn't happen that way, honestly. So, voila, that's how I started. First business.
story, yeah.
And the funny part was, I don't even know how to start a business. I just started it. And I went to a friend of mine, a church friend of mine, and I told her that, hey, I'm going to start something. It's really scary. My journey, I don't know what to do. Can you give me some advice? Because she's also a business owner herself in the academy. So she say, okay, why don't I give you a small contract? I'm so blessed, I have good friends that supports me. So he said, I give you a small contract, not a lot, but I hope that helps you to get through the months first. So I said, okay, I accept it. But because it was at least 70% lesser than my salary previously, it only helped me to survive. So I took up another job in night. So technically I work 18 to 20 hours a day for 6 months. Because otherwise there's no money. And I was just driving a little kanchiu, Like I tried to save my gas, gear 1, gear 4, keep it there, just so I move slowly on the highway to Shah Alam. And I live in PJ. So to save the petrol, I drive on the side so that I don't spend too much on the gas. And yeah, so the gas was quite cheap. I think I can spend less than $30 a week for my gas because I need to save the gas, right? And but the second job that I took was actually soft skill training. Those days they call it that for government. So a lot of graduates, they can't find jobs. So what they do is they'll go to a government agency. Then the government agency will actually sponsor them to come to a course where somebody will train you up how to get a job, interviews, score interviews and all that. So I took up that one. That's how I ended up working, I don't know, 15, 18 hours. Yeah, because day I have to do PR stuff. Night, I have to do, day I have to do the training. Night, I have to do the PR stuff to execute, to arrange my email to medias and all these things, arrangement, help my client to plan all this social media stuff, write contents. So I basically sleep 2 to 3 hours a day because the next day I have to go Shah Alam again. So that helped me to survive. And when reality hits after 6 months, that was where that changed my life. So I remember the last week of that 6 month, I was like, I got no contract anymore. What am I gonna do? So obviously I pray and I ask for leads and guides. And a media friend called me and said, hey, Ellice, there's this thing, do you want to try to pillage? I was like, okay, whatever lah, just give me, because I have no leads, right? So then he called and I went in and I pitched and I got it. So I was blessed. I got the contract, my first ever real contract to run PR campaigns. And that helped me up to, kickstart officially a PR agency. And the rest are history because after that, I continuously improve and get more contracts and I keep hustling and learning and improve. Till year 6, that's where I discovered the tech. And in between, I noticed there's a gap where PR or corporate communication people are very stagnant. Coming from my own background, if you go to corporate these days, majority of them are just running like family day. What was that? Family day, press release, board meetings, annual reports and all that thing, and which ChatGPT can do these days. So that time I was already seeing the problem that hey, this is one challenge. If the PR people don't evolve, there will be a problem because tech can easily do this job. And that was another transition I had where I know that I cannot stay stagnant just doing PR. And happened to be, I discovered low-code through Tim Hendricks, who is now my husband. So it's a husband and wife business. But when I met him, I didn't understood I was trying to run away from tech. That's why I didn't pursue my own tech as well, my own certification. I guess it's because one of the client that I had, they tried to launch an app. It's a logistic app. Before Grab got this big, right? There was an app similar to Grab that was in the logistic. So that transition that time, that was where I noticed that the clients struggle with the development, go live, and people. And that's where I introduced Tim. That time he was here, he was working for another company. And he proposed, he did the ROI calculation. What do you get in the long term? How much you save by automating all this? And to cut the story short, he managed to launch everything, which the client took 1.5 years, No, 1 year, 1.5 million with 10 people. They couldn't go get it live. When team came in, we did that live in less than 3 months. Half the cost. And it's exactly the app that they wanted with added features. That was where it kind of like, ding, give me the light bulb, like, wow, what is this thing? Like, what the hell is this? So that was where I invested again my time to do R&D. Like I studied like a year to understand what is low code. So I did my own research. Tim didn't help me at all because it's husband and wife, right? Obviously people think that, oh, your husband helped you. No, I actually spent a lot of my time to study low code. That leads me to quantum. And that was 2016. People were really talking about quantum. And I realized, oh my God, this thing is big, it's huge. Like, how can no one knows about low code? Because it would change people's life. Not just business owners, decision makers, but the programmers. You can get a better balanced life by automating boring stuff. Which that's the reason why I didn't pursue being in a tech. Because how many times do I need to sit there and repeat this setup? It's so boring. I'm a creative person. So that's why I didn't pursue. But when I discovered that, I was like, that's it. Low code is the way to go. But the thing is, I received a lot of rejections from C-suites all the way down. I guess because there was no in-depth learning and understanding how powerful low code is. And another one is there is a fear that if I do this, if I pick up this, and am I irrelevant to this industry? Which is, I can assure you, it's not the case. Because I've created more jobs and I've seen my client given more tasks and more ideas to ask them and demanded them to materialize in short time frame rather than when you want a system those days, you have to do it for 1 year. Now it's months to weeks, weeks to months. So that's how I started as an entrepreneur, and it is where I am today.
Wow.
It's a long story. But it's so difficult.
I 100% did not expect that story.
Yeah, but that shift is something I didn't expect as well. It's actually it's sometimes when life push you to the edge that you don't know what to do. You feel like that's the end. The next is the cliff. Either you jump or die. That kind of moment. That is also a power, a shift of mind that would change your life. And you just need to see light in between the dark. And that's how the new Orangeleaf office is, actually. I created that way to remind people that this office is called Life for a reason, because every time when we feel life is dark, depressed, anxiety, whatever you call it, it's not going to be staying forever. It's not your identity, because I'm also a cancer survivor. So I know that you can get through. It's the shift of your mind that we all have this monkey brain that it's just going there like, you're not good. You're sick. It gets you. But the only thing is that you need to be able to shift.
All right.
It's not comfortable. It's not easy. I'm not saying I do this. It's easy now. But imagine that time I was there. It was not easy. Sometimes I took days. Sometimes I took months to get over something.
Right.
But the being strong is not aesthetically showing you're strong. It's when you do not give up in life that makes you strong.
Right. So yeah, you just picked up very casually, quickly. Just now you mentioned you're a cancer survivor. Like, how many challenges do you need? Like,
oh yeah, well, that was the time I was like, thank you for this another test. But that was kind of like a killer, because that was where I went to PTSD. Then I actually have to see a therapist after the treatment, because I thought I would be happy after the treatment, but I got lost and depressed, because people will come to us, people, cancer survivors especially, they will come with good intention, of course, overcaring, like, oh, don't eat chicken, don't eat vegetable, don't eat this, don't eat that. Obviously, because people care. But the thing is that I always tell my friends now, because I have the experience, if their family, anyone have the same situation, cut off and draw boundaries, because your mental health is so much more important than listening the voices and noises out there. to stay alive. If everybody tells you this, how to live, 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 you're not living from your heart. You're living from the voice, which is outside. So who are you going to follow? In the end, you're not going to follow what the doctor say. Why? Because this auntie say this way. Oh, this Mrs. don't know say what, the Mr. says one. Are they a doctor? They're not a doctor. So I choose to cut off everybody and listen to my heart. So and then I went meditation. That's how I started meditation. And I started to learn to listen to my heart and listen to my doctor. And even my professor was saying that, Ellice, if eating chicken can cause you cancer, I don't need to be here anymore. You ask the person, submit Nobel Prize lah. I don't need to work already. I can retire. Which is true. That's what a doctor is there for, right? I got scolded from him too. He's like, you listen to everybody, but you come and see me. What's your problem? I was like, Prof, you make sense also. He said, yeah, if the person tells you eat chicken can cause cancer, eat one chicken can cause cancer. Ask the person submit Nobel Prize. I don't need to already. I was like, that's true. Yeah, so...
This would be daily global news, yeah.
Yeah, so Prof was like, you have to stop listening because before you live, your mind will kill you. You will die before anything else. Your body system or your system in the body shuts down. It's this one. And this is like supposed to keep you going, right? So, that cancer was like an awakening to me because I thought I'm not going to live that one. And I was like, life sucks. But this is worse. It's like cancer. It's something you cannot see. And it's a word that everybody like fearful that would happen to any individual.
Right.
Right.
Was this before or after you started it?
It was during COVID, 2020.
Oh, it's not that far.
Yeah, I was an ovarian cancer survivor. Wow. So I only have one side. I don't have the other side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I came out. I finished the treatment in 2021, but I have to see a therapist to overcome my own challenges. Not fearful to death, and remove the voices from other people's opinion. So I managed to sign off from therapist in 2022. Yeah. So she said, Ellice, you don't need me. You are good on your own. It's just that you need a bit of help tools to navigate your life. You have gone through worse than this. But it's just that you need people to help you to go through this phase because it's a foreign phase to me because it's life and death or it's an illness that you just need to, overcome yourself. So, so 2022, then I got back. I actually went back to office simultaneously already in 2021 to keep me going. So the office, Orangeleaf Consulting, keeps me going, staying active. Just that I can't do much. So then 2022, I got signed off and I went full force, pushing myself to keep living, keep doing things, stay active. But if there are days I cannot, I'll take a break. I have more self-awareness to that. Those days, because of my own childhood trauma, I need to survive. So I'll keep going even though it's hard, even though I don't feel like I still have to do it because there's no money to live, right?
Right.
And now I learn how to take a step back if I need to take care of my mind. Yeah. So that's basically, it's not easy.
Your survival instinct's always going to be there. Actually, when I was hearing your story just now, there's so many things to unpack actually from like how obviously your early childhood was, and I imagine you remembered the different families that you had to change to and all that, right? And that would probably shape your, I guess, the way you see the world and all that.
Oh yes. I think not just abandoned as a child, like every of this home, every individual had abused me, and if I have to list it out, I will list it out actually, so that I hope other people out there in the individual through this podcast also see as a strength, as abuse, sexual harassment, sexual assault, what else? Generally under the abuse category, I face it. So that is a lot to unpack. which I did with my therapist. And what she discovered was I have already segmentized and closed the chapter, not closed the chapter, I have boxed it myself without me knowing it. I guess because when life gave you no option, strong is the only way that you can live, you will have to get through it. So I don't have option A, option B. I just have option A and A. So what can I do? That was where I have to go through it.
What I find a lot of people who've experienced some kind of, I don't know, some early trauma or something is, and, you know, as you say, like it's like a survival instinct. But when faced with adversity, and you know, life, you never know what life throws at you, right? One thing that I guess some people do very well is you translate it into some kind of constructive energy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, you know, rather than like feeling very sorry for yourself, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to victimize it because victimize makes you hold grudges and also become revengeful. So that's something that I'm really blessed. I didn't hold that since I was a kid. I don't hold grudges and revenge. If you don't like me, I don't feel great. I'll probably be upset and disappointed or maybe, you know, like cry and all that. But I'll move on after that. I don't want to like take revenge on you. Why? Because the one that suffers most is not that person, it's you. It's me. Because when you want to take revenge, number one, you need a plan. After the plan, you need to execute a plan. After you execute that, if the plan fails, you're going to be disappointed with your own plan because it didn't go well with your plan. Then you go cycle again. Then you forget to leave.
Right.
Which is the purpose of life. Because to live and do what you need to do is do earn money, leave, find another love or whatever. Like I also like I've been heartbroken many times in my life, you know. I allow myself to grieve. So since I was a kid, I allow myself to grieve. I understood that, but please don't ask me why and how I know. I just know that. Like I allow myself to grieve. So when some of my friends say, hey, when you break up, how much time do you need to get over it? I say 4 to 6 months. Wow, so long. I say, yeah, because when it hits back, I don't feel painful anymore. When I revisit the pain, it's no longer a pain for me. It's a wound. So I learned to speak from the wound. Even now I'm sitting here with you, I'm speaking from the wound, not the pain.
Oh,
because it's a lesson.
Right, that is like, I mean, you can see a scar there, but it doesn't hurt anymore. But the scars, you know,
massive.
You know there's something.
Exactly, right? So I can't hide from you the real story about that wound. It did happen. And the hardest thing about life, I learned from cancer about this is that acceptance. Acceptance of the illnesses, acceptance of the wound. So I struggled with the cancer when I knew that I was really angry with life, with God, with anything. I was like, how far and how sucked my life can be. Like, already abandoned, orphan, and whatever, you list everything, all the bad thing, right? And then you still want to give me cancer? Like, you're joking, right? And that was where I got so angry about life. And I struggled. So I couldn't sleep when I took treatment because I slept a lot in the afternoon and at night I couldn't sleep. And I was so angry and the professor actually gave me Xanax. And that Xanax didn't sit well with me. I got backfire from that one. And I almost like wanted to jump from the building because I was so angry. Because it brings out it helps you to relax, but also brings out the worst of you. I don't know. I'm not saying you, but me. It brought out the worst of me of being so angry. So that was where I actually met my guru of meditation. It's introduced by my sister. He was the one who actually woke me up with simple sentence. He said, Ellice, why are you angry? And I was like, I'm so angry because I cannot sleep. He's like, okay, because what? Why are you angry? I say, because I cannot sleep. And then he asked again, yeah, but why are you angry? I say, because I cannot sleep. People sleep at night and I slept so much in the day, I cannot sleep at night. Then he went silent. Then he asked me, who tells you need to sleep at night? I was like, who told me that?
Right.
Then I was like, who says you must sleep at night?
Right.
It's how you grew up. As a normal person, you need to sleep at night because you need to go to work. Do you have work to do tomorrow? I was like, no. So what's your problem of sleeping in the day and not at night? And I was like, the light bulb. The moment I was like, he makes sense too, though. I say, because you force yourself to sleep thinking, because the body programmed that way that I have to go to work the next day, right? It's still in the program. So you think you have to go to work. That's why you force yourself to sleep. But the more you force, the more you will get rejection. Your body will reject. So then he taught me how to meditate and then relax and accept the current situation that I had at that moment was accept cancer.
Right.
And I accepted it. I learned how to accept. It was difficult because who wants to feel imperfection, right? But now, when I wake up, I can breathe, I can see things, I can feel, I can eat. I count my blessings, right? I'm blessed. So that was when I realized and learned that acceptance is so powerful, because that was where treatment number 2 to 6, I have 6 treatments, right? Treatment number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's so much easier to walk through. It was not easy, as in like you still feel things, but I felt so much more powerful. I turned that into strength. I see my future, like, okay, when I am done with this is what I want to do. And that got me through, actually, that I don't need any more medication or Xanax or whatever sleeping pill. I just meditate and rest. Meditate and rest. I talk to my brain. I say, hey, you're on a holiday. So you're going to be on a sabbatical for 6 months. So take it easy. And that has slowly, the brain accepted it. And that changed to my normal life for 1 year till I got back on track again.
I love how you ask why you're angry 3 times. I mean, as I was listening to that part, it's like, oh, in a way, right? It's kind of like, you're angry because something didn't expect the way you think it should be.
Yes.
At the same time, why you expecting it to be like this in the
Yes.
first place, right? But
Yes.
I guess what it sounds really interesting is your first goal is to let go of the anger,
Yes.
right? Like just let go of it.
Yeah, yeah. You just have to see, you need to understand yourself. Why are you doing that? Like, why are you feeling this? Like, everyone, that trigger point, there is a reason why you're triggered. And you just need to look deep enough to understand that deep. It's a lot of in-depth work here, but all of us are triggered by something. When somebody says something, oh, I'm so offended or whatever, there is a reason to it. It can be a childhood trauma. It can be some past experience. Maybe your ex-boss was not nice to you. There must be something. And then when another person comes and repeat the same pattern, ding, ding, it's in your head like, I've seen this before. I've noticed the attitude. You're like this because, yeah. So, but when it comes to this leadership position that I'm holding, I cannot hold that thing, which is called the trauma. Because one bad employee does not reflect the whole entire bunch of people are bad employee. So I must be working towards inward myself to see that one person does not reflect the 10. So I must be able to forgive, number one, if it's a bad thing happen. And if it is a disciplinary or a people problem, then I will need to see how to work around it with them. And I'm always pretty open to tell people, hey, I'm a very direct person, right? I can be a little bit too direct to your face. But if you think that is something I say wrongly, discuss with me. Tell me, where do you think it's wrong? But as long as it has to be business related, not because I don't feel like, I don't like, it's an ego. If you read the book Ryan Holiday's, ego is the enemy. So it's basically it's about you. And how you feel does not reflect the organization, right? So it's always you can put your I because it's your own self-performance too. But how does it reflect and how does it contribute to the organization must be in that conversation. So I normally will tell my team, you can tell me your I. You can tell me how you feel and whatever. So now, with this, how does it reflect to the organization and the revenue? Tell me. Because at the end of the day, this is not a house. I mean, you talk about not a family because we are not
You're a team, right?
biological. Yeah, it's team. To be honest, I used to call this a family too. Okay, so I'm in that bracket as well. But I also learned as we grow, you want to work toward elevating your mindset, turning it that family thought, which is I understand because we want to be good boss, so we put everyone together, which is fine. But if you want to stay comfortable that way, can I not increase your allowance? No, ma. We still have to pay you, you know. So elevate the mindset to think that, okay, we're good at this. Let's upgrade ourselves. Turn our mind and shift our mindset to greater, which means that we're in this together because we all work for a living. We all work for money. Otherwise, you won't call yourself an employee. I won't call myself an employer for a reason. But does that mean that you should slave around? No. But it's just that you have a duty, I have a duty. My duty as a CEO is to make sure that you bring food to the table. I go out and make money, so you have food on the table for your family, your loved ones. You have a duty to take care of the organization, and your duty is to make sure that you do your part so that you can take care of the company and me. So I leave this worry here and be out there and make this company a great company that people want to be in, whether it's investment or work. And that thing, it's not easy to maintain. Like, I'm coming from my own experience, right? But for me, I have more homework than many people because my trauma starts from day zero when I was born. But it's good because I've been working on it and it's really doing great.
Right. No, I'm so curious though because I'm sure this is very common. There are a lot of people who have things that are, this is my word, not so useful to the behaviors that they learn, that because of the past experiences.
Of course.
And you probably maybe served them then, but
Yeah.
but it doesn't serve them now, right?
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of people kind of recognize these things.
Yeah.
They know it's there, but wanting to change is easier said than done because a lot of this it just happens naturally, like an emotion just comes up like that, right? And then so do you have any process or way how you might want to change this behavior? Let's say someone said, identify this time. I wish I wasn't like that, but it just keeps happening. Like, what should someone try to do?
I mean, there's one thing I don't see. What I see is that I don't like to call problems. I like to call situation and lessons. There's a reason because problem is a negative word and challenges it's neutral, right? But if you say everything is a problem, since I was born, that's a problem. Can you imagine how many problems I've solved? At that problem that you solve, it's not just solving problems. You're basically elevating your mindset, upgrading the challenges. It's like game in your life, right? It's like you play a game. I'm not a gamer, just to be clear. My husband is. So game has a lot of stages to break, right? Like I only play Street Fighter lah. So every game that you fight, you win. Round 2, round 3, round 4, same goes to life, right? Every situation is supposed to elevate your mindset, your growth, and everything in life. And that is something is so important where when it comes to this, when I'm in a situation where it's really challenges, especially challenge the trigger points. Let's put it that way, the trigger points. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. Sometimes I got triggered and I take that emotion. But if it gets, and I ask myself, okay, Ellice, why are you feeling that way? Like, what is it? When I first started Orangeleaf, I have an old version of me where in the PR industry, we're very loud, we just like, why just not done now? Like, we're loud people. But it's so common in my practice that people just very bold, like speak up their mind. And there's a lot of like curse word flying around.
Like the industry.
Yeah, it's so common to us, like ha ha ha, like not intact, not intact. So that is a different world for me that I have to change because ask myself, do I want to continue running this business? If I do, I need to change, not them, because I can't ask them to change because they need to behave the way they behave to build systems. They cannot change, but what they need to shift is their mindset to understand how business work. It's not changing, it's just shifting. And for me, I need to change because I can't run this company like a PR company or a PR agency mindset or identity. So I toned down a lot. I toned down, I changed, and I tried to learn from them how they talk, what is in their mind. So it's very instructional based. No simultaneously multitasking few things because they cannot cope. So I need to slow down to pace and follow their pace. So a lot of learning process, just like marriage, just because you get married, that doesn't define it is what it is. It's another learning curve every day with your spouse. Same goes to work and business and leadership. Every day there's something to learn. And I went to the ground to learn from my team members, to understand from them like how they think, what they need, and how can I be a better mentor to them. So the past 7 years, Orangeleaf has been around for 7 years. Instead of putting my ego first by saying that, hey, I'm your boss, listen to me, like, follow this, do that, do that. I'll be like, I'll give you a challenge. I will do the 1-3-1 or 1-2-1 process. So it's one situation or one challenge. You need to propose 2 options for me and provide 1 solution for me. Provide with your own idea. I want to hear, because I want to hear from them on their thought processes, how they think, because that helps me to plan their career growth in Orangeleaf. Because everyone will come up with interesting ideas and suggestions of how to solve the problem. And that helps me to see, are they a very technical person and a potential, or they are a potential person that can do creative work? Because the way they solve problems are very different. And you'll be surprised, the ladies can create and solve more technical problems than a gentleman. Because of the overthinking. That thing, if they can turn it around to build system, fantastic.
Right. In some sense, they're very, very analytical, very...
Yeah, because they question a lot of things, right? Why this, why that, how come? If you turn that into building a system, I tell you, that the woman is the best tech problem solver in the market.
I love it.
So basically, the story,
Right.
it's pretty much that.
Right. And earlier you said that obviously you went to a therapist for a while, and then at some point, you said, okay, you don't need to come see us anymore, and you have some tools to deal with like different situation. Could you share what some of these tools are? Is this some kind of like in ABC type of frameworks, or if you're anxious, do this, if you're angry, do this, are there stuff like that?
Few things. Of course, I went through, number one, when I went to therapist, she did an EMDR with me. So to analyze where I am, right?
What is the EMDR?
Oh God, I don't know the long word, but it's basically where it's like a hypnotize in the way you sit there, and then it was like tick tock.
Right.
Bring you back, and then what do you see?
I see. Yeah. So they're trying to go to like your subconscious process.
So what you see, I see elephants, dinosaurs.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's like interesting because for somebody who has life is so dark, usually I see something else. But what my therapist said was, mine was pretty good. And I say, are you sure? She said, yeah, some people are very deep. Like they can't even get out from the depression because it's so deep. That's where they go to psychiatric for a reason. And I don't want to be there. I was like, I don't want to be there. Like, no. So that's where I turn to motivation. I think that's me when I was a kid already, right? I was like, I don't want to be in this situation. How can I get out from this? Instead of, oh yeah, life is bad. Yeah, it'll suck. And then just go in and join the club. I don't. I just come out from that. I don't want to be in this place. I don't want to be in this place. I don't like this place. And this sucks. And I was like, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be this person. And that helps me. And the therapist basically did that EMDR. That's how she concluded that I'm actually pretty good in handling things. But that doesn't mean that I don't need her. She always told me that if you still need me, I'm always here. But it's just that you are way so much more stronger than you think. And the few things that she reminded me, like her job is to make sure to teach me how to surf. In the end, I can't be holding her and I still want to learn how to surf. She needs to let go of my hand so that I can really surf to learn. And surfing means that you have to fall to your face and, swim and, get a lot into trouble in order to be a good surfer. So that's how she put it into a situation. And I was the one who didn't want to let go of her hand. I was like, please no, I pay you, please let me see you. They say, no. You know how many people want me to sign off or not? I say, I don't know and I don't want to know. And she's like, no, it's good. You have to learn how to surf. You have been surfing all your life. It's just that this one hits you hard. Like you're injured, your leg's broken, you don't know how to walk. So now you're actually recovering. You should go and try surfing. It's just the trauma is hitting you. So the one thing that I practice when emotions surface, anxiety surface, or trauma surface, one thing I always encourage people to do, all my close friends knows about this, is journal. Do journaling. And I beg everybody, please don't write a journal and reread the whole journal again. Please don't do that to yourself. It's a self-inflicted wound that you write something very angry, right? Assume that today you're very angry at your boss. I hate my boss is so stupid, blah, 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 blah. You finish already, then you read again. What I wrote? And you're like, sendiri cari pasal, right?
Right.
Because you're supposed to detox. And you'll be surprised how powerful when you express all this emotion into that piece of paper that you can trust as a book. Closed it and moved. You realize the same day, things will actually slowly fade away. It will. It's just that you cannot have the expectation that when I write I close, how am I feeling today? How? Do I feel good now? No, it doesn't go that way. When you write with your true feeling. Like, today is a suck day. Today is a bad day. Today is a shitty day, whatever you call it, right? And then from there, you're like, my boss is stupid. Whatever you feel, that's okay because it's you. But you don't have to, you can't verbal with your boss, right? And boss also cannot be verbal to the employee. So what we want to do is go to somewhere where you can express the truest self of yourself from here. Write it down. Write whatever you want to write. Close it. Never look back. Not even tomorrow. Like you want to come and look back and say that, like, hey, what I wrote yesterday, do you have people like this? Like they just want to remember what happened yesterday. So that's where you create problem for yourself because you reminded your brain again, like, oh, the pain of yesterday.
Right.
Then you will never recover a wound. It's like you have a cut. Every day you go and dig the wound, like the spot, right? How is it going to recover?
Right.
You're supposed to let it dry and heal. Yeah, there's a cut, but you will remember as a lesson.
Right.
So
I suppose it's like the way people think about the purpose of a journal, right? I think that when you're a child, people like to write diaries because you think, I want to record my day.
They too.
Right.
I wrote a lot of diaries. I wrote a lot of stuff. And then till today, I still practice writing a journal. But I have two journals. One journal is for the negative and one journal for the positive where you count your blessings. So I split it up so you don't confuse yourself because good journals are journals that you want to count the days. Oh, today I'm breathing. Oh, today I managed to get a seat on the bus. Or today I get a parking.
Oh, I love that.
And just
Like
small little things. I was like, oh, today my colleague bought me a lunch. Oh, today somebody paid my parking, which I did in Starling Mall. Then I will write it down. I was like, oh, somebody had offered me RM1 to pay my parking. Bless that person. Little things, just positive impact in your life. When you speak negative, you will be negative. But when you speak positive, you become positive. And of course, the people around you, who you hang out, is so important and elevating. So I have friends where, I grew up the child. I'm not going to disconnect with them. But I would continue to evolve, mixing with friends that help me to channel my business and growth to another level. Then I have a different set of friends that would speak the language that I'm using now to run this business. So I have different sets of friends, different journal that helps me to set through, and most important, reset. Reset. I always talk about this, that you need to take time off. So in Orangeleaf, we have up to 5 times, 2 hours, up to 2 hours of time off where you can do personal stuff and we won't question you. Like you can take it up and up to 5 times that you do whatever you need to do. It can be menses pain, it can be banking issue, whatever it is, a family issue. That's where we started off that way. And we also started off 4.5 days work where You still have to fulfill the 40 hours, but it's just that I noticed my team, majority of them like to leave late. So that's where I give them like, why don't you work from 9 to 7, Friday, the half day, 1 p.m. onwards, do whatever happy hour you want.
Oh,
Yeah. The only challenge, of course, for us is that certain clients, their projects are international. They may not receive that kind of treatment. So they have to go project basis.
Right.
So this project, you may not have the 4.5 days. Maybe another project, you may have the 4.5 days. So they need to get that approval from the client.
right. I'm compared to 4.5 days in a bit. So I also love how you have 2 journals. So I think it's like, so I guess journaling is like, not so much for the purpose of remembering, but it's also in some venting lah, like detox, right?
Yeah. How much does a friend can think about your complaint?
Right.
They also have their own problem to solve these days, right?
Yeah.
So take that journal as an opportunity for you to heal and go to this. You can go take a holiday. Depends on the person. Whether you're a beach person or, a nature person is really up to you. Some people, they like to go hiking. Go. If you like to go, suntan by the beach, go. So find your own therapy. Spa. I'm a spa person. So a lot of my friends know that I spend a lot of time doing my hair and I spend a lot of time in the spa because that helps me to not able to talk and I have to shut my mouth and rest. So, but that helps me to rejuvenate. So find your thing that you want to do where you can be alone to reconnect with your heart. Because when I was younger, I like to be outside, party, clubbing, those days, right? Because young, right? You want to be outside with people. You don't want to be at home because at home, then it looks dark. So I was like party like for 5 times a week, like every day party to then after that, sunrise, take my bag, go to work. That's how I was. But that doesn't mean anything. In the end, you still have to face reality, the harsh of the reality where money counts, life is there, problem, where we call situation, will still come to your face, right? So that I change. So reset means reset to connect with yourself, not reset and go girls' holiday. That's different thing. Girls' holiday, you still need to entertain. You still need to talk to your friends. You need to some people pleases their friends, right? The people pleaser part. But when you're alone, you please yourself. You connect with yourself. You talk to yourself. You ask yourself, what do you want? And that is where you do the groundwork about healing.
Right.
Yeah. So I do that a lot. I practice a lot. I practiced that many years already.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And also I think one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize that it's actually very normal to have things to vent about.
Yes.
It's just what you do with the energy, right, that matters, So I remember that this one time, many years ago, we had people who worked here and some of them, they're not going to like every decision, everything that happens here. And they were venting to colleagues during lunchtime a lot.
Of course.
And that circled back to me somehow. And people say, oh, you know what? There's these people every lunchtime they're talking about all this stuff and it's so tiring listening to it and stuff. And then I just end up speaking to them and say, hey, actually I understand. Let's say from your point of view, maybe why you're not happy with this. But actually, but if you need to vent, that if you need to find a different type of outlet to vent, right? Not within your colleagues, right? And not only is it unhealthy for you, they also judge you. It's just this the environment not good. But I actually perfectly understand that there's a need to vent.
Yeah.
Right. So you just need to figure out what that is. Or maybe your personal friend girl or your journaling. What some way lah, right?
Yeah. We can't entirely stop even in Orangeleaf, we are a very young team, right? They may not understand what boundary means. Boundary means that you need to respect house rule. Every company has its own house rule. Just like you go to a restaurant, you go anywhere, there's rules. So Orangeleaf has its own rule. And the rule is, if you have a problem with your colleague, you can either talk to a HR or you can actually talk to me or Tim. Or you can talk to the person you're not happy with. Address it. No gossip. Because we're open space, when you say something, the other person might interpret it very differently. And when that happens, you are already creating grapevine. And you are stirring unnecessary politics in the company itself. So whenever people come to me in these days, right, because we're just growing, so what I have segmentized it, when you want to complain, is it a business problem, process problem, or is it a people problem? You tell me. What do you need me to address now? If it's a people problem, okay, let's go into that one. People problem. So what's the problem? I don't like this person talk like that. I don't like this thing. I don't like this person. How do you address me? Okay, no problem. So what triggers you? Why is it? Then you need to list it down, like how Master asked me, why are you angry? Why are you angry? And then, why are you angry? So same goes to this situation. Why are you offended by it? I don't like the tone. Okay? Noted. I mean, it's a very individual thing. It's like you go into the restaurant. Not everybody like French restaurant. Not everybody like Chinese restaurant. Not everybody like Tai Chow, Chinese cooking. Not everybody like Italian food or pizza, right? So same goes to work. Not everybody can fit into each other's mold, but we have to compromise to learn to collaborate with each other. You don't need to like this person, but you must respect this person. It's two different things. I see it very differently. I may not like you, or I don't like you. That's perfectly fine. I'm not married to you, but I must respect you that, okay, we're a colleague. I don't really like how you do things. I'm going to focus on my job. I'm going to do it well, right? Because at the end, I have a family to take care. And that's supposed to be your focus. And to work and do your best to master the skill, whether it's 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and then you find your career path to the next journey where you want to go. Because I've been an employee myself, and I've been in a situation where chit-chatting, all this, like voices. It happened to me. Like, Ellice, why you work so hard? Why you work so hard to, what was that called? Spoil the market. Why you work so hard to spoil the market? Make all of us have to work hard. But I was dead broke, sis. I need to pay my little kanchil. I need to eat. I'm working in this place that it's not cheap to live that kind of standards. Of course, I have problems to take care. So I didn't address it. I just say that, okay, that because I need a lot of money, but thank you for your feedback. And I move on, right? I can't prevent that. And like in Orangeleaf, we have, but we set policies that there was a guideline to it. Actually, we came up with a guideline, like how do we define gossips, where you cannot do it. And we give them suggestions and feedback, like, where can you do it? And it has to be out of the office. You want to vent? Out of the office. You go over like a drink or whatever, but just not in the space I have created for people who cares and wants to work. And that is so important to keep everyone sanity, right? At the end of the day, it's so easy to transfer negative energy to people. And what you understand about my conversation, the comprehension, may not be another person's understanding, right? Maybe I say, this was, I told her already, pantry budget is this, and give me this. Just simple example. My budget also not that high lah. But this is not something I've just given handsome. It's like, so good this boss. 300 ringgit, that's my real budget. So stingy. I will go to the fridge, I will open up. Very stingy, Kampung egg. You guys request kampung egg. You got kampung egg. Milk got X brand one, got XX brand one. And then all these snacks almost expired, never finished. Then you call me stingy. This one is called food wastage, So then it kind of like, you need to have a healthy conversation with them to like debate. But it's not saying that, my company and myself, my life is perfect, but it's about collaboration, like collaborative mindset with each other to see that we may not live together forever, we may not like each other, but have a sense of respect of that person has a duty, you have a duty, let's work together to achieve that task, not the person. Don't personalize it. Don't take it personal, because at the end it's a word. You're not married to this person. Yeah, so my approach is I changed because over the years, we also have that situation. We used to have that situation where I was too forgiving to allow that happen as well. And that caused a huge damage.
Why do you feel you were forgiving at the time?
Because this is where it happens, where about my upbringing, right? As a child, the childhood trauma and all that. So for me, my autopilot mode is sweep it under the rug. Sweep it under the rug. It's okay lah. It's okay lah. Later don't want lah because it didn't go and all this thing and all that. Let people complain, then don't like me, Those are the things, it's in my head. Because that's how I grew up. Then, of course, that's where I decided not to be the slave of my own mind by torturing myself in a situation that it cannot be this way. Because I have followed good mentors in the sense that leaders when I was an employee. They never behaved that way. Actually, the best boss I ever had in my life was one of the most difficult, meticulous, annoying boss. But that person is the person that turned who I am today. You call it whatever you like very petty, very meticulous, so difficult, changes his mind every single day when he wakes up, and asks for ridiculous things that I don't sleep at night. And he can call me at 1 a.m. That time, as an employee, I'll be like, oi, like complain all kind of things. But it was just me working with him. It was my ex-CEO. So I reported to CEO as well. And now that I'm a CEO, everything's like a flashback. Like, oh, now I understand why he's doing that way. Why is it that way? Why is being so meticulous? Why he always tell me, read your freaking document before you sign. Why do you need to do that? That answered now. And now I count my blessing. I'm so grateful I went through that lesson with him. Because of that lesson, I can be a better CEO on the today. So everyone that walk and pass, who's a passerby in your life, is there for a reason. You will never have an answer until the life meets you at that point. And this is my point here.
Wow. and just segue a little bit to like the culture of the organization. Not so much culture, not sure it's cultural benefits, but you mentioned just now, you do like 4.5 weeks now.
Yeah.
But you compress the 40 hours, right?
Yes,
4.5 weeks.
yes.
So you work kind of, you work a bit longer first 4 days, and then last 4 days you do half a day.
Yeah.
What made you decide to try this
method? So, because we have a young team, it's aged between 22 to 31. Because I forgot, because it's getting more people. So I want to catch up the age a little bit.
You do what?
Yeah.
Average age.
So I have to look at my team to just validate it. So they're very young people. And I understand that I can never run this business like a dinosaur anymore, like myself, right? I have to change. I must change. And there are, when we talk about innovation, we talk about speed to market, build fast, integrate fast, fast result, quality result. When we talk about this, which means that human behavioral automatically also have needs and demands. And as an employee, I know that, lifestyles is so different. When you talk about inflation, I have employees tell me that, inflation is so high these days. And they're not paid badly. I paid them pretty well. Yeah, our increment year to year, if they are high performers, their increments is between 20 to 35% per year. So I know I'm not doing a bad job here. But what I know is that, but you have to work hard, like really work. But what happened is that when it comes to this, right, the balance itself, right, the balance itself. And this is very difficult to align. And there are demand of, what if I want to work from home? We rejected a lot of application where applicants ask for work from home. Our business is not easy to work from home because we are introducing a new technology. It's not Java, it's not C. You can't work from home because we are talking about bridging business and tech, which means we are turning tech into shifting their mindset to understand business. How can you work from home by learning new technology and new business model? No way. You need to be on site because you can't be picking up the phone 100 times per day. Hey, how are this? How that? You want to turn around. Hey, how's this? How's that? And anything that can be solved from the screen is now can be solved by AI.
I've been saying that also, actually.
It's true.
Yes.
It is true. And it's not to scare people, but it's true. It may not impact Malaysia a lot this now is because labor is cheap here. So that helps. But that doesn't mean that business owner would not seek for alternative to actually automate for less headache. When they can get more ideas out, that's where they look into softwares, automation, because they also want to have higher productivity. Any bosses will want higher revenue because year to year, employees seek for increment. Let's be realistic about that. And there's no way, if I take 100,000 contract, next year 100,000, next year 100,000, but your salary go like that. You can cut my margin, but don't forget, the revenue do not just pay your bill. Rental, likes, electricity, all these things, right? EBFs also. All these are reality, right? So especially at SME like me, I'm very honest with the team by telling them that, we are self-funded, there are bills to pay, we need to be very conscious how we spend, right? But for me, I told them that, okay, every year we do good, that company trip, 2 years in a row, they went to Japan. So first year was Kyoto, second year was Tokyo. And this year I've not revealed yet, I'm not sharing. So, so it depends on the P&L. So I told them that you work hard, you still get your bonus, you still get your increment, and I will still treat you well. But but also means that working in Orangeleaf, it's not easy because our clients are very demanding because they have tasted what automation means that they want faster thing that they used to try to ask a tech department, they couldn't get it. And it's not the person's fault. It's the technology that they're using now goes back to the education system in Malaysia. And that's where the first thing when I discovered low code, the first thing I told Tim, if I'm implementing and setting up company in Malaysia, education is a sector I want to venture. I want all Malaysians knows there's another better way to learn things. And then there's an opportunity for non-tech people to be in the tech industry to build systems. So this is why for us, we collaborate, we sign MOU with the Chief Minister of Selangor, and then we signed the MOU with the Ministry of Education under TVET to actually push and give opportunity to students in rural areas that, to understand what low code, at least give them a chance to hear what low code, and it's a global thing. It's not even like a Malaysia or Asia technology. It's a global need to develop software faster. We have trained, or I say a workshop, with Ministry of Education, TVET, BPLTV, 800 students itself. And then with the Chief Minister of Selangor, under the SDDC Acts, together with Siemens, we have trained almost 200. Those are certified. So SDDC Acts is a certified certification, which they actually can use the cert to actually do something about it. Whereas the ministry, they're all teenagers. So they just need to know what's going on in the global market. Because at the end, they still have to enter the real world, right? So I've tackled both sides under education to let more Malaysian talents know. Because when we talk about brain drain, Malaysia have great talents, great people. It's just how we cultivate their mindset. And it does require a lot of time. So back to why 4.5 days is there is a need because we work really fast. When people say, oh, my company work fast, oh, you got to try Orangeleaf. We work really fast. That people who think that when interview, right? The company work very fast. I say, yeah, Orangeleaf work fast too. Yeah, I understand how it works. When they come, then they step in the first day, they are like here. Then they understand because our clients are very demanding in a good way. They want quality software. They want quality systems, secure, high quality. And on the other hand, for us is because we understand the need, which means that they automatically will like, can I just sit at home and laze in my bed and while doing my laptop? Which I can understand. Sometimes you have lazy days. So I am not the kind of leader that thinks that hybrid works or remote works. Because like I mentioned, anything can be worked from the screen. Soon, the AI can do it. So remote is soon not going to be a thing that people want to opt because AI can do it through agentic AI. So decision making and decision processes, all these things that come when a person search for data or join a company. Everything is in the secure system of an organization that they don't need a remote worker from another side anymore because all data is all consolidated in the organization, right? Who have access? Depends on the decision maker, right? So that was where I know that, okay, I want to set a balance for my team, but I cannot do remote or either the hybrid or remote. I'm going to ask myself, okay, listen, what can you do? Like, you have that boss balance also, right? I have to balance myself. When I give something, I don't want to be the one that, burut siku, what they call it, give already and I take back, So I asked myself, what can I do? And I'm going to be okay, and it's going to be a long run. Then I was like, okay, if I can give 4.5 days as a start, right, we will improve as we go. Would that be all right? So I discussed with team to say, yeah, as long as you work your 40 hours. So I have to put his consideration in because he takes care of the tech. And I was like, okay, noted that. So I came back and draw a plan, and I was like, okay, so if it is 4.5 days, we have to do 40 hours. It's mandatory. So what we need to do is be transparent with the team to talk about it. Like, you have to fulfill 40 hours. And technically, majority of them, they leave the office around 6 something. 6 something, some of them 7 because they live in Cyberjaya. You are already there, fulfill that hours, right? Myself, you fulfill it. And then Friday, you can call your family, and the idea and intention to give that 4.5 days was to people who wants to, like go back to Seremban, right? Then you don't have to do Saturday. You can start on Friday. Then you have extra half days to spend time with your loved ones. And then we talk about hospital visit, either your loved one, spouse, or, a checkup or whatever for your family. You know that the Friday is no longer required an approval. You can just, plan things ahead of it. So we started this year. And we're still on the pilot, like testing at the moment. So one team is actually now already on a 4.5 day, and it's doing really well. So the person can go plan, meet their friends, go home, dating, whatever it is. So we're slowly expanding the 4.5 day to other teams as well. So then we see and observe how is it good to put into a plan so that it becomes a policy. So it's an experimental thing, but so far it seems like it's good because the 40 hours is fulfilled and people get to benefit to go home early and do whatever they want, and I'm okay about it. And that's so important, right? Employee needs to okay with the the giving and taking thing.
For it to be sustainable, it has to be like everyone has to be okay with it.
Yeah. So I'm okay with it. Tim is okay about it, and my team is waiting for their next announcement. Like, when can I do it? Because I take care of majority of the operation too.
Got it.
Yeah. So far it's good, 4.5 days, and we are looking into more other benefits to implement as we grow. But it does take times. Yeah.
Got it. So okay, I've got 2 last questions. And actually, we obviously prepared a list of questions to ask for it, but I feel that I didn't ask those questions directly, but you covered it a lot. Like, the story connects very naturally. So I think you covered a lot about the way you look at leadership, like the way how you build the entrepreneurial mindset and stuff like that. I wanted 2 last questions to dig in a little bit on this whole low code thing, or what Orangeleaf provides as a service or product. We all know now, like you just mentioned AI. Like, AI is a really huge thing.
Yes.
I am not technical, but we pay very close attention to the technology, especially what's happening in America and on China. So a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
So how does this low code happened before this whole AI revolution thing? How does this work with what you're building? Does it integrate well? Does it not integrate well? Like, I'm just super curious. Like, how does it change what Orangeleaf could do?
So low code is a platform, just like any other brands. There's SME size and there's enterprise. So my focus is very enterprise. It means that we take care of conglomerate, companies that like from millions to billions. And that means that it's secured and it's ISO certified, and like in Netherlands, like even the parliament uses it. So that's very secured. And Malaysia is a rising need of, secure platform. So low code is a high secured quality platform that is owned by Siemens, right? And it's very important to choose the platform. I choose Mendix. It's not just because it's secured. There's a sustainable plan and growth. over the years that I've observed with this platform. And AI, when it comes to enterprise, right, I now train or educate my client to do one thing is that AI is basically data. It's just standalone on itself. For organization, what we do is because we're customized for our client, the need because of the speed of technology, we can build things in weeks and days to weeks, right? So what I always train the client to understand, you can get this from ChatGPT. There's nothing wrong, but it's not secured. It's not yours. It's not your data. What you want is to create your own organization, what we call agentic AI within the organization for better decision making. Because if you're not doing that, the data goes out, then that's not yours. So when you ask something, ChatGPT, that data comes from everywhere.
Right. Yes.
So how does it help your organization to make better decisions when the data is not a data within the organization? So what we are very good at is that we don't come in to just sell you Mendix, because that's not our job. We're a consulting firm. As a consulting firm, my job is to make sure that clients understand how to phase out from legacy system to advanced technology like low code. Low code is just one of the platforms that we have chosen, Tim and I have chosen, because we know there's a value there. We know this will give clients secure in terms of data ownership. When it comes to platform, what we learn and I learn is that when you subscribe something, the question I always ask the client, do you own the data? It's so important. And if you go to somewhere and it's okay, you want to have a small problem, especially startups, you can't afford enterprise platform because it's very expensive. Of course you go with this, but always ask that question, which I always remind the client, do you own the data? If it is not, where is the data? And can you ask or extract? Number 2, API. It's an interesting thing because I discovered about API in 2016. And I mean, again, I'm not like gonna trigger any tech people here, but when I noticed about API, it is a gateway to connect one system to another system. What happened is majority of the organization that I visited, their softwares are not talking to each other. That gives a business a harder path to make good or accurate business decision making because there is no real-time data. And that cannot help the company to grow because where are the data? HR will have to extract or, consolidate 2 weeks first. And then when it goes to sales. And then sales have to do this thing. Then sales then go to procurement. That's called data leaking already because that means that the organization have quite a bit of technical debt to do. Why? Because everyone works very silo. Like this department and this department, this department. Now, in the modern way, and now the fast digital transformation is happening where everybody talk about DX. What client wants or enterprise or business owner wants is that I want seamless experience where all dots are connected and I get my job done. How? Investing into advanced technology. Now, I'm not saying that Mendix is the only thing you need to invest. You need to look into the holistic of your organization, what is needed, what needs to phase out. And we have, of course, like in financial sector, they cannot phase out because they have to be on-prem. On-premise means that there are data that needs to be on-site because of data and security. And it's very important financial data. But there are organizations you actually don't need to keep a server. It's like you're still watching on a DVD and playing cassettes. But everyone is on Spotify and Netflix. So change that to have more trust to cloud. Because if hiring is an issue to you now, securing your company data is going to be even more challenging if you think that labor, generally manpower, it's going to be there and last forever. People is going to change their job. So what are you going to do with the data? This person leave. How do people access this data? And that's a problem. And that's where when I discovered 2016 API, I know that this needs to happen in Malaysia, where system needs to talk to systems. Software needs to talk to softwares. They need to talk to each other to generate higher accuracy in terms of data for better decision making for the company, for the country, for whatever it is. It's so important. That's why in every organization, you want to keep the data close, compiled, and secured so that all employees that work within ABC company inputs their data in that organization. You can do API with ChatGPT or any other AI chat platform that you want. That's perfectly fine. But make sure it's secured, and secured way API integrates to a secure platform like Mendix. That's just one of it. There are more. I know that in SME there are also other platforms that are secure too. It's not just Mendix, okay? And there are a lot of brands out there. Depends on your financial. You invest one, but don't forget to ask the question: API, is it or is there an API or open API to integrate to other systems? Number two, need to ask is that, do I own the data? Because otherwise, you put into a system, then, the data goes in. And then when you want to, let's say, create a membership, like POS system, right? You put in data. This real case study happened in 2018, where my client put into data sales into a POS. But when I asked him, okay, he wanted to create membership. Then I said, okay, where are the data? He can't put it out. And it was a challenge. Then I say, how come? That I did my own work. And I realized that clients don't own the data because it's owned by the organization. And the person or the organization needs to extract by modifying the file, not the data file, in order to be able to extract the file to the client. And that's going to take, well, depends. Some people are days, some people are weeks. So it really depends. And you're losing so much time. And time is the most important thing to all business decision maker these days. So these two things are highly questioned when I do this. When I did my course in digital transformation, it's also one thing that it was trained that you can sit in all kind of platforms you want to, but know what is it for. If it's personal reason, you just want to do fact check data, or you want to do write a press release or content writing, which I encourage my team to use ChatGPT for that, but don't implement in the organization. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to start building systems, you want to be having a plan how to build seamless, connected data platform where A system talks to B, B talks to C, and at the end of the day to you, right, Eric? When you sit here, you want to have this report from this person. It's not to give instruction 2 months ahead of time. What you want is that, hey, can I access now to see the latest yesterday, what happened on this data? Ding, 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 you go in, you already have it wherever you travel. It's not, HR, I need this, I need to know how many people do this, how many people do that.
Right.
And then you have to wait for another, I don't know how many days to get that. And then in between, there are still people taking leave and whatever not. I'm just giving you a simple example, right? Because the data is not updated, the person has to put into Excel sheets. And imagine you have 10,000 employees, and that will be a pain. So for us, the product and the platform, I know Mendix is a good, and we have been doing this for the past 7 years. Tim has been doing this for 15 years, and it's still growing. And it's just that familiarizing how low code work can be exciting. To me, it's exciting. But to some people, it's something that it feels like you cannot scale, you cannot secure. It depends who you talk to. If I talk to a tech person,
Sure.
it's not something they are comfortable to talk about. But when I talk to business owners, risk officer, or marketing or sales, they want things to be fast. And that's not possible with traditional coding.
Right.
And that sets us very different. So it's a shift that needs to happen, and it's happening now because of AI. Yeah.
Thank you. And so last question there, Ellice. You're seen as a role model for a lot of women in tech, and one of the things, and obviously to kind of get here was quite a bit of a journey. So, well, I'll say last question, but two small questions combined together, right? So if you could kind of reverse time and send a letter to yourself or a message to yourself right before you started this, like what advice would you give yourself? And I suppose, the reason I say two small questions is, I guess, what advice would you give that you think would be relevant to a lot of like young women who want to start their own thing?
Okay. To address two in one.
Yeah, I guess it's the same question. Like someone said, what advice would you give to like a younger Ellice,
Okay, I think to answer the first question, like what would I give the younger Ellice is that your beginning is not your end. Right? It's like how I started with nothing, right? Does not reflect who I'm gonna be. And when I was younger, I always have this vision where my life is like a canvas that I can color. How you color is really up to you. It's a psychological thing, right? So I always choose to color the canvas with colors. It's like life. You can choose to color with black if you want to, and that's your choice. But I choose to color with colors, rainbows, because I believe in hope. I believe in light. I believe in life, and I believe in opportunity. And that was when I was a kid. So that kind of like, if I'm going to write a letter, never thought about it, but good question. So I'm going to write to myself is that it's very simple. Don't give up. I actually wrote it before. I did actually. Okay. So what I did was I told myself, don't let anyone, I tried to refresh the one that I wrote. It's like, don't let anyone tells you you're not good. Trying to refresh. Don't let anyone tell you you're not good. And never limit yourself because of the voices out there. Like, you are so much more powerful. Show the world what you have. Yeah. That was the one that I wrote.
That's it.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me that. I almost forgotten because I journal a lot. And then for women out there, do not hold your own voice. Like, speak up. As long when you speak up, speak respectfully. Speak up what you believe in and speak up with intention. And that will change your life. Because many women, my surrounding or grow up as a child, women always being told not to speak too much because you're a woman, don't talk too much. What you say is not right. You're just woman. But it's not the right way to do it because women can earn a lot more money these days than men. And they're so much more capable. Like I told you, right? Women actually is so powerful if they can see tech as one avenue to invest to. Oh, you'll be surprised at the amount of systems that they can build because they change all this overthinking complex brain to building systems. They build way much more meticulous details. And one of my most successful clients in DX, the whole team is a female. And for that, I want to remind all women out there, where you start is not where you're going to be. And believe in yourself. And when life, where you want to go, and this is where you are now, always remember that the journey is not going to be easy. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a lot of rejection. And that rejection is something called a journey. And women is so much more good in problem solving. So ladies out there, if you can hear this podcast, believe in yourself and listen to your heart that your beginning is not your end. The beginning is just the beauty of adventure of your life. And 40 is the best age to start.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to wrap up this conversation. I know we met, I think it was a year. Is it a year? Yeah. And then I saw that the passion they had to build the company, and you're clearly trying to build something that's very different. I love to hear, I love the fact that you are growing. Here, obviously, you expanded your office, and
And thanks to your advice too. You gave me a lot of good advice too.
Oh, I mean, I'm not sure if it's advice, but I mean, I share just experience, I guess. So, but thank you for being.
Yeah, thank you for having me here, Derek. It's nice to have a conversation with you.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us and getting to the end of the episode. If you like this, follow us or hit the subscribe button. It will help us bring on more amazing guests and makes the whole show better for you. So thanks again and see you in the next one.